Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Sunday, the 2nd of November, 2025. How are you all doing this morning? Sorry to keep you waiting there. I was trying to set this as a podcast because I know some people listen to these shows as podcasts and I keep forgetting to switch them because Morning Brew goes out as a podcast, but everything else doesn't. So I thought, well, before I do this, right, I'll set it to a podcast. And I was there at 11 o'clock. Okay, go as a podcast, and it said, I need a thumbnail. And I'm like, I don't have a thumbnail. It's like, I need a thumbnail. And I'm like, so, and then I'm like, okay, here you go. You can have this. See this here. See this picture. You can have that. And it's like, no, it has to be square. And I'm like, oh my God. So I had to open up Photoshop. But then I had Photoshop open at the same time as OBS. So this was taking half of the CPU and Photoshop's taking the other half. And Google Chrome wants 200% of a CPU all the freaking time, like a really clingy girlfriend. Yeah, so that's why I was late. Sorry, square bloody thing, but I didn't even do a particularly good one. I just sort of knocked it together and went, there you go, that'll do. Anyway, welcome to Sunday Sermon, which is a bit like Sunday service, except I'm just going to pick one topic, right? And we're just going to go off on one about it. Don't feel like you can't respond to what I'm saying. I will try and include you as much as possible in the chat, so it's not just me dictating things to you. And yes, very much you can be part of the choir. So sing when you want to and hit the subscribe button to add to your chat there. So this is going to be a regular thing on Sundays for the foreseeable future. 11 o'clock. You're going to have me for 1 hour and we're going to have a little bit of a rant together about something that's happening in the news or whatever. But yes, so let's talk about Nathan Gill. Okay, so we've skirted across this a few times on this channel. We haven't actually delved into it in detail, so we're going to go into a real detailed hack into this disgraceful, disgusting episode in the history of the Refuck Party, which is gearing up to try and take over the government of this country, which will be a coup d'etat, make no mistake. So we're not going to stand for that, right? We're not going to stand for it, correct? Yes. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that doesn't happen. Wish Labour would help us with that, but that's another episode. So this isn't a weird one-off scandal. This is a case study in foreign interference and far-right compromise. And what I find the most shocking thing of all, which I'll come to later, is just how much this cost the Russians to do this. How cheap our democracy is to subvert, to poison, to destroy. How cheap it is. That is what freaks me out the most. Just how little money transferred across for this guy to be a traitor to not just his country, not just to his continent, but to the entire human fucking race. I might be a bit sweary this morning. I know it's Sunday, possibly shouldn't swear, but here we are. So Farage's constant refrain is one bad apple, okay? Yet Refuck, UKIP, Brexit Party keeps on having these bad apples that smell suspiciously like Russian fucking orchards. And what I want to do while we're talking about this is I want to expose Refuck's proximity to Kremlin interference and Farage's attempts to wash his hands of this whole Nathan Gill business and how this fits into a wider pattern. And today's sermon is about a man, Nathan Gill, who went from being a Mormon bishop to a Russian propaganda mule, a patsy, a slave to the Kremlin, Kremlin's gimp, a gimp to the Kremlin in his little gimp uniform. And remember, far-right populist vehicles are a fucking dream, a dream for authoritarian infiltration, as we have seen in Georgia, in Hungary, in the USA, in the UK. Attempts have been made in Moldova, which were successfully pushed back. But the meddling in countries like Belarus, which allows the meddling because they like to be meddled with, and Ukraine, where for a long time Putin's mate was supposed to be leading the country. And when Putin's mate wasn't leading the country, as soon as that happened, what did he do? He invaded Crimea. Which happened before Zelensky, you know. Everyone seems to forget that. Zelensky wasn't in power in 2014. Anyway, the question is, first of all, that we need to answer is, who is Nathan Gill? Okay, so this is a guy, he's 6'4", he wears cowboy boots, he's talked about as being soft-spoken. He's a former refuck leader in Wales. He was a UKIP MEP. He was a former Mormon bishop in Anglesey, and he ran a care home business in Hull, which collapsed post-2008 financial crisis with debts of £116,000. He's seen as politically quirky. He is a teetotal, church-going family man, seen as unremarkable until now, until it turns out that he's been working and possibly sleeping with the enemy. With the people, the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin. These motherfuckers who blow planes out of the sky, who murdered a British woman, Dawn Sturgis, say her name, Dawn Sturgis, killed by Russian agents, murdered on our soil by Russian agents at the behest of Vladimir Putin. 300 people killed on MH17 flight, the Malaysian Airways flight that was shot out of the sky by a Russian missile. A man who poisons his opposition. The man who destroys, who blew another plane out the sky that happened to have his former best mate on it, who turned against him on his handling of the conflict in Ukraine, which was obviously fucked. So this guy, this church-going guy, you know, I go to church, I'll pray, and I'll ask Goddy for nice things, right? That's what he does. He goes and asks Goddy for nice things. That's what people do. They go out and they say, can nice things happen to me? Can the cancer go to someone else, please? All the time, he was working for the fucking devil. Very fitting, isn't it? Maybe the devil made him do it. Maybe he was tempted by the devil. That's right. Yeah, they often say that, don't they, when they're caught in a hotel room with a rent boy fucking off their tits on PCP. Anyway, so yeah, it's always the quiet ones, isn't it? It's never the loud ones, like Farage. It's never him. It's not interesting. All these people around Farage keep getting done for being, like, I don't know, spies, propagandists for a tyrannical, authoritarian regime that will kill you if you speak out against the regime. Anyway, so Gill has pled guilty. So he's fucking guilty, so we can say he did it. We don't have to worry about saying allegedly, oh, maybe he didn't do this, or we have to give him the benefit of the doubt. There is no benefit. There is no doubt. He did it. He took money from the fucking Russian government to spout pro-Putin talking points in the European Parliament. Wow. He pled guilty at the Old Bailey to accepting secret Russian payments to promote Kremlin interests in the European Parliament from December 2018 to July 2019. He was done on 8 counts of bribery and conspiracy. He cooperated after an arrest, and the prosecutors were a bit surprised at the early guilty plea. Maybe it hangs over his head quite a lot that he's a traitor to this country, and he literally worked with a man who's ordered his soldiers to go and rape children in front of their families in Bucha. Because that's what fucking happened. And Putin ordered that. He's also ordered the kidnapping and abuse, sexual abuse, of thousands of children who have been kidnapped from eastern Ukraine. Putin has done that. And when some stupid motherfucker like Zara Sultana says, well, you know, come on, be fair. Zelensky is no friend to the working class either. Fuck off, Zara. Seriously, get all the way to fuck. Because you are literally comparing one of the most evil men of this century, the man who has done more harm to this planet than any other so far this century. And that's saying a lot. And you're saying, but if you think about it, Keir Starmer had that beer, didn't he? He had that one beer. So, you know, the fact that Boris Johnson was having a fucking house party every night when we were supposed to be locked down, oh, that negates it all. You know, bring out the false equivalents. Stupid tanky twats. Anyway, enough. I don't want to get distracted. I don't want to talk about tankies today because they just annoy the shit out of me. But I gotta say, just between you and me, right? I'm so fucking happy that your party fell apart like a fucking wet cake. I'm so fucking glad that their fucking stupid, arrogant incompetence just came to the fore straight away, and they're all fucking suing each other. They haven't got a name for their party. They've got no fucking policies. They've got no fucking hope. If you are thinking of joining your party ever for even one moment, please join the Greens. Go on, off you go. Join the Greens. At least they are halfway fucking competent, okay? Not fucking tanky scum. Anyway, so, yeah, this is huge. And it's funny, isn't it, that it's hardly been covered by these newspapers. You know, that hardly anyone's fucking mentioned it. It's not been on the front cover of the news every day for a month. If it had been a Labour MP or a Labour MEP, could you imagine? They wouldn't let it go. They'd be like a dog with two dicks. Like, it wouldn't stop. It wouldn't fucking stop. But here we are, you know. We're in this reality where when the right do something fucking horrific, it gets sort of swept under the carpet. We kind of mention it, you know. It might get mentioned a few times in the private eye. That's about it. But when anyone on the right fills out a form incorrectly, it's like, oh my God, how dare they fill out that form incorrectly? Oh my God. Oh, sorry, did I fill out that form incorrectly? Okay, well, I'll fill it in now. Oh, I owe some money. Okay, here's the money. How dare you? How very dare you? How dare you make an innocent mistake? And this is the thing, right? These motherfuckers on the right, they don't make innocent mistakes. They do this shit on purpose because they think they can get away with it. They've been born into a world where they think they can get away with it. You know? That is just the situation that we are dealing with. So, yeah, it's all a bit grim, really, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm going to go back to the chat for a moment here. More like one bad babble, more like one bad fucking orchard. Sainsbury's Novichok on the door handle. Sainsbury's? Salisbury. Shame. Never thinks she's a decent person. Not an excuse, though. Naive, maybe. No, it's just fucking dangerous. It's fucking dangerous. To say stuff like that, it's fucking dangerous. There's a fucking war going on. People are being killed. Children's hospitals are being bombed. Women are being raped as a weapon of war. By not just the Russians coming over, but you've got people coming over from North Africa, the Middle East. You've got people working for the Russian government from North Korea as well. They've got these mercenaries coming from all over the fucking world to invade Europe. You would think that this would be the one thing that these fucking nationalist dickheads would get behind. Oh, these people are coming from other places and they're raping our women. Yeah. In Ukraine. Did you notice that? When you support the guy who's overseeing all that, the guy in charge, you support the guy who's in charge of all that. You support Putin. You think, well, what was it? Farage said he admired him. Yeah, the politician he most admired, Vladimir Putin, the guy who sends rape gangs into a European country to rape women as a weapon of war. Unforgivable. And, you know, we often talk about intersectionality here, but how fucking can you? How can you say that you support the left, that you support women's rights, that you're not a vile misogynist, while at the same time making excuses and making the crimes of such gruesome men as Vladimir Putin seem like lesser? Seem like, oh, well, it's not really that big a deal. I mean, you know, Zelensky, he I don't know what he did to not be a friend of the working class. He didn't let the Russians just come in and kill and rape everybody. How dare he? You know, how dare he stand up against Vladimir Putin? What a twat. And it's this mindset of like, I'm not anti-British, you know? You know who I think are anti-British? Not just the fucking tankies, because they clearly are, but the ones on the right who just want this country to fail. I watched Drive last night, and the original cut that I watched, there's a scene in it, the movie Drive, Ryan Gosling, 2011, Bryan Cranston, it's got Hellboy in it, and Carey Mulligan. Privately educated, of course. He's got, in the movie, he's got a scorpion on his back, on his, not a real one, but like an embroidered scorpion on the back of his jacket that he always wears, right? And it's a subtle little bit of subtext where it referring to the fact that he isn't going to change in the movie, okay? He starts off and he's a killer, right? He ends up, he's a violent man, and he ends the movie the same place he started it. He doesn't change. He doesn't evolve, which is unusual for the main character in a film. Normally, a main character in a film, they want something, they're having trouble getting it, and on the journey, they learn stuff about themselves, and they become a better person, usually. Or they, get what they want, or they get what they need, not necessarily what they wanted, etc., etc. That's usual progress through a film. But there was this subtle nod to the fable about the frog and the scorpion. Okay, and the scorpion asks for a lift across the river. The frog says, "No, you'll sting me." And the scorpion says, "No, I won't sting you because that will kill us both. If we're halfway across and I sting you, you'll die, and I will die as well because I can't swim." And the frog is convinced by this and says, "Okay, well, I'll take you across." And halfway across, the scorpion stings the frog. And as the frog's dying, he goes, "Why?" And the scorpion says, "I can't help it. It's my nature. It's who I am." And this is the point, okay? When it comes to, and also, by the way, in the movie last night, the cut that I saw, he didn't explicitly explain that. He didn't mention that bit where he mentioned that got cut out. I don't know if I saw a preview edition or something in the original. I was a bit annoyed that they highlighted this bit of subtext because I was like, "Oh, hey, I got that little bit of subtext there." But he mentioned it on the phone in the original that I saw. But I just watched it again last night, and that scene was taken out, or it was shortened. Anyway, so it was the point. Anyway, scorpions don't change, right? This is the point, right? They will sting you, even if it means them dying as well, even if it means bad things happening to them. And all these people who vote for refuck and all these people who vote for fucking Brexit and all this kind of shit, knowing it's gonna fuck them as well as everyone else. They're the scorpions in this story. And it's our job not to be the fucking frogs and not give them a lift, not give them a fucking inch, because they are absolutely destroying everything that our forefathers and foremothers fucking built. Everything they put together. Every good thing they did. And I know there's a lot of bad things in the past, but we were building towards something. And these motherfucking scorpions voting for Donald Trump, dying in the fucking river, going, "Well, it's my nature. Sorry, I know it was going to fuck me as well, but I just couldn't help myself." That's my scorpion impression, if you hadn't noticed. Isn't it disgraceful? Isn't it absolutely disgraceful? These people who know it's going to fuck them. They know it's going to make their healthcare go double in price. It's going to make their food double in price. It's going to take away their food stamps. It's going to take away the NHS. These stupid motherfuckers in this country voting for Nigel Farage's party, who have explicitly said they're going to privatise the NHS. They're going to move it to an insurance-based model. Ask the people of America who are on Obamacare how they feel about that insurance-based model when their premiums go up by over 100% at the end of the year. 100%, ladies and gentlemen. There are going to be people paying over half of their wages just to get their insurance for going to the hospital. And here's the thing. Even when they do go to the hospital, they've got their excess to fucking pay, or whatever they call it over there, which can be thousands of dollars that they've got to pay out of pocket. Because the insurance company, we only go after the first 5,000. We'll give you some money after that. But the first 5,000, that's you. That's fucking you. So imagine you have a bad day. A really bad day. Imagine you lose your job. And you're walking home and you get a text. Your partner's leaving you. Fed up with you leaving the toilet seat up or something. Starts to rain, you pull your collar up, and you step out into the road, and you didn't realise there's a fucking bus. You get hit by the bus. Shit. You wake up in hospital. Not only do you not have a job, not only has your partner left you, but you've got a debt of $150,000 because of the ambulance, the tests, the casts, the medicine, the time in the hospital bed that you've got to pay for, the MRI scan. that you've got to pay for because you weren't insured, didn't have a job, weren't insured. One bad day. Do you know how many people in this country have gone bankrupt because of medical bills? 0! In America, hundreds of thousands every fucking year. Bankrupt. Lost everything. Lost everything they built. Imagine working from like 16 years old. Like just a low-level, blue-collar job. Just getting your head down, going in every fucking day, 9 to 5. Waiting in the fucking commute, cramming into a train every fucking day. Every fucking day. For 50 years. Just imagine that. 50 fucking years. At the age of 66, you're finally like, yes, I've amassed this money, okay? I've got this money now. That's great. That's mine. You know, got a house. You bought a house. The house is worth a lot now. Really well done. And then you have one bad day and you lose it all. You lose absolutely everything. That's the future that Farage wants. That's the future the stupid motherfucking pensioners voting for Farage want. Who's going to fucking insure them? Who's going to insure the old people? They're not going to have insurance through their company for their business because they're not working. They're not working for anybody. They're retired. No, what we'll do is we'll get these old age pensioners to fucking pay for their insurance. Yeah. How much is it going to be now? Oh, about £5,000 a month. That's not very much, is it? This is the guy who earns 1.2 million a year. So, no. 5,000's fuck all to him. It's fuck all. Fucking the proper whammy. I'd love a fucking refucker to knock on my fucking door. Jesus Christ. Although I am a bit worried about that because I don't want them to know where I live. Do you know what I mean? But I want to give them fucking down the banks. Resloy, £5 super chat. Thank you, my friend. That is the first super chat of the Sunday sermon. Thank you very much. I had to go in A&E in Ireland, and it cost me €300 for a small thing. The NHS is so precious, it must be protected. Couldn't agree more, mate. Could not agree more, Resloy. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely fucking 100% on the knocker. Right, listen, I am going to do something here, and I hope you don't mind, but it's my first Sunday sermon. I know we've done this morning brew before, and we did it at Sunday service before. And I'm just going to give 30 minutes, so to the end of the show. I'm probably not going to go over this week because I'm not going to do today because I'm not going to do the papers. We're just going to talk about Nathan Gill eventually. But yes, if we get to, I'm going to start the goal now. So at midday, if we get 5 super chats in, then we will have Kafefi in the chat. Okay, so just before I go on, I'll read some of the things. I do like your party. Sorry, Graham. They need to get their shit together, though. And the Greens are the future. Labour are dead. Labour are really fucking flailing at the moment. I don't think they're dead. Honestly, I don't even think the Tories are dead. I don't. These big parties, especially the Tories, you think they're done for, you know? You know the bit in Terminator 2 when he's frozen and Arnie shoots him and he splashes into loads of tiny little bits and you think, woohoo, that's it. The Terminator's been defeated with Arnie and being frozen with liquid nitrogen. And then you see the blobs coming together and then he starts rising out the floor. Yeah, that's the Tory party. Never write them off. Trust me on this one. And you can't really write off Labour either. The two embedded in society. I'd be very, very surprised. But I know for a lot of people watching this, Labour are dead to them after their fucking behaviour. And look, I understand. I completely fucking understand, especially if you're trans. Like the way Labour's acted in the last year or so has been absolutely fucking unforgivable. So, yeah. And I think it's going to have to take a change at the top in order to get people who have just given up on Labour for that reason and some other reasons, their attempted attack on disability benefits. Let's call it what it was, an attack on the disabled. I mean, it remains to be seen what happens in the next in the budget at the end of the month. Colin Baker, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Nothing to say, but thank you very much, Colin. Anyway, but yeah, I think your party are dead. Don't forget about them. They're gone. They're like, I think Change UK lasted longer and was more of a credible threat to the status quo. But yeah, they ended up all joining the Lib Dems, didn't they? There's a lesson there. You know, Lib Dems, the established party. I think the Your Party people, most of them most of the people who would support your party are going to go to the Greens. And that's fine with me. I want the Greens to do quite well. And I want them to pull Labour to the left instead of refuck pulling them to the right. Thank you very much to Caravan Lad 100 for the £5 super chat. That is very, very kind of you. Unfortunately, we need to take the Tories. They need the Tories to take votes from refucked. Yes, we do. That's entirely true. Okay, so where were we? We're talking about Nathan Gill. Sorry, to go back to the main subject of the sermon today. Rare case in the modern UK of an elected official taking foreign cash for propaganda. This is something that you might have heard of in like the 50s or something, but it's not something that really happens, I don't think, today too much. But it does. You see, we just don't know about it. And these people who are really, really into conspiracy theories, why aren't they talking about this? Why isn't this their go-to? Why are they still talking to me about man not landing on the moon or Marilyn Monroe assassinating fucking JFK from beyond the grave or 9/11 being an inside job or Sandy Hook children being fucking crisis actors or whatever? Like, why is it always that shit? Why can't they look at actual conspiracies where some evil person gave another evil person some money to do some evil shit? Why is that never mentioned? You know. Anyway, so, and there's parallels here with John Stonehouse's Cold War espionage, but this is more directly tied to modern Kremlin operations. So what happened was the FBI was the ones who uncovered this, by the way. It wasn't necessarily the British security services. And I find that very telling, very, very, very telling, because you know and I know that at some point the British government has told the security services in this country, MI5, MI6, GCHQ, they've said, turn a blind eye to any Russian nonsense going on. Turn a blind eye. Don't investigate it. Don't look into it. We're all about the Islamic terrorism. We don't care about whatever the Russians want to do to our democratic system or our economy, for that matter. The FBI stopped Oleg Voloshin, who was a pro-Kremlin Ukrainian politician linked to the oligarch Viktor Medvedchuk, who is Putin's close ally. And they extracted WhatsApp messages from Oleg's phone, which showed these covert payments to Nathan Gill. The US later lists both as agents in a Kremlin plot to install a puppet government in Ukraine. And Gill was already entangled in their network. US intelligence flagged this before the UK police were involved. And then in September 2021, I don't remember this being reported in the news. If he had been a Muslim who was trying to leave the country because he'd I don't know, done something, and the UK counter-terror police had arrested him, or maybe if it had been someone who had written something fucking horrific about trans people on the internet, and they got arrested, and then, you know, all the pearl clutchers could go, oh, but no, why is he being arrested with people with guns? It's like, because he's in a fucking airport. They've all got guns in the airport, dickheads. Oh, but why? He just wrote hurty words. All right. Do you know what? I missed a fucking trick on Friday. I didn't think of this until just after the show. You know, my costume, I was like Zombie Rees-Mogg. Yeah, I thought something much more funnier that I could have gone as. Yeah, quite topical. You know, someone else back from the dead. Yeah, quite topical. Something that, you know, might have upset a few on the right. But then, you know, is my hurty costume hurting you? Is it my hurty words? You see, when it's our hurty words, we got put in jail or worse. When it's their hurty words, it's like, oh, you're overreacting. But yeah, so so Gill was initially arrested in September 2021. I didn't hear anything about this in the news. On his phone, messages agreeing to take money for pro-Russian statements, coded language. He used coded language about Christmas presents and postcards, and the payments, right, were between £4,000 and £5,000 pounds each, totaling over £10,000. That's it. £10,000. You can get a credit card and you can get that on credit. £10,000. That's how much this guy's soul was worth. 10 grand. That's how much his integrity was worth. His honor. 10 grand. Can you believe that? £10,000 to Putin, who's one of the richest men in the world. Putin probably is already the world's first trillionaire. Wouldn't surprise me. This country's not, though. This country's not doing so well, is it? Is it Russia? No, not doing too well in Russia. Got no fucking oil. Got no fucking coal. Got no fucking food. You enjoying queuing up for your fucking cold potato, are you, Russian? Yeah? Yeah? You enjoying that? Going back to the 90s? Yeah? Great days. Di Stanton, thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Labour are fighting on a battlefield selected by Refuck. Absolutely dumb. Couldn't agree more, Di. Refuck will always get the bigoted vote, no matter how far to the right Labour move. Yeah. Yeah. And also, like I say, the people who vote for Refuck are scorpions. They can't change their nature, and they will kill the frog, even if it means them dying themselves. They will destroy someone else's life, even if it means that life also impacts negatively on theirs. They don't care. They don't care. They will live out the rest of their days alone in a nursing home, shitting in their own pants, happy that they got one over the trans people, got one over the gays, got one over those fucking European Parliament people. And they sit there in their fucking shit, in their nappy that hasn't been fucking changed for a week because there's no one to look after them, because they've turfed out everyone who looked a bit foreign. That is the dream. That is the dream of the fuckers. They want to get rid of everyone who looks a bit foreign. There was a black guy who was working for Refuck, and he actually resigned last week in the wake of what that Sarah Puchin fucking Harridan woman said. That disgusting fucking harpy of fucking disgustingness, bigotry, fucking harpy of bigotry. What was that? I don't like it when I see black people on the telly. Oh my God. Did you say that out loud at your face and you're a fucking elected representative? You're a fucking MP. What about all the black and brown people in your fucking constituency? Hey? What about them? Yeah? Don't care about them. Does it drive you up the wall when you see them, when they come into your surgery, right? Is that right? Or you see them out on the street in Runcorn or in Helsby? Do you get upset? Do you like, oh, fucking look at that person there with slightly darker skin? Grrrr! Makes me so angry. I hate it. These people are just fucking grim. Fucking grim. Cash traded with propaganda to shape Western narrative pre the full invasion of Ukraine. And then look at the propaganda work here, the specific actions that Gill took for his 10 grand, his fucking pocket money, 10 grand. You got to understand, like, Nigel Farage earns more than that a week. A lot more. He earns that in about 3 days. That's 3 days' wages for Nigel Farage, which is, his wages for being an MP. Not that he ever turns up in Clacton or in fucking Parliament unless it's to be a twat. Is money that he gets for hawking gold. He's got like 9 other jobs alongside being a politician. If that's not a grift, I don't know what is. I really don't know. And this is my problem with the people who vote for this stuff. Either they don't know, which is fucking stupid. I mean, how can you be that fucking ignorant? But also, if they do know, how can you be that evil? How can you be that evil and that's stupid fucking evil to vote for these motherfuckers? To go, yeah, Nigel's got a point. Nigel, yeah, my mate Nigel. Yeah, indeed. Jimmy Carr's spoken in support of Linehan, by the way, who think a tax evader would support fash talking points. Yep. He said that Linehan and J.K. Rowling were brave. It's very brave to hide behind all your fucking money and throw insults at an already tyrannised minority. A minority that's now scared to go out, scared to go to the fucking toilet because of all the bigotry that's been out. But yeah, Jimmy Carr, who went to Saudi Arabia, the country where, they chopped up well, they didn't do it there. They did it in an embassy in Turkey, but the journalist Kagoshi, they hacked him to death with a fucking bone saw. While he was alive. They did that. They fucking did it at the command of the leader of Saudi Arabia because he was an inconvenience. That's what they do with inconveniences. And Jimmy Carr, that mealy-mouthed little fucking bully-faced ventriloquist puppet come to fucking life, goes on stage and they go, oh, yeah, Kremlin is very brave. Yeah, do you know what's brave, right? Sticking with your family through thick and thin. That is fucking brave. Standing up for your children. Standing, together with your family. Do you know what's not brave? Sacking off your family for the adulation of teenage fucking incels, bigots, homophobes, transphobes, Trump voters, Brexit voters on the fucking internet. 99% of whom are fucking bots. I'm sorry, darling, I've got to leave you and the family because I've got to impress some bots because I'm brave. That was the brave step. Yeah. Pedro Pascal is brave. That's bravery in the face of homophobia. David Tennant is brave when he wears a t-shirt saying protect the dolls because he knows the shit he's going to get for doing that. And he's not trans himself, but he knows that there's two sides to this. There's the side that is right and fair and equitable and loving and caring about the people in our society. And then there's the other side who are fucking Nazis. Yeah, being a Nazi, it's fucking brave, innit, Jimmy, to be a fucking Nazi. Yeah, all the fucking cowards who joined the Nazi party because JG money beat the people who got killed. Yeah. Or the White Rose movement were they the cowards, yeah? Jimmy, yeah? Fucking arsehole. Anyway, news. No political party will ever agree 100% with your personal politics. It's always about choosing the best fit, and for me, that continues to be Labour, says David Peacock. Yeah, that's absolutely right, mate. I that's why I'm still part of Labour, even though some of the stuff they've done has absolutely disgusted me, and I completely understand why people have left. But if I wasn't still part of Labour, I couldn't have voted in the deputy election, the deputy leader of Labour election, which installed a left-winger rather than the fucking transphobe Bridget Phillipson. Jimmy Carr isn't even funny. No. He's really not. I mean, getting drunk on New Year's Eve alone and hate tweeting trans people again and again and again. I think Graham Linehan a couple of years ago, he put out like 100 tweets on New Year. He was obviously on his own, drinking, raging about trans people. That's not brave. It's pathetic. It's beneath contempt. Being brave is standing with your family, which he clearly didn't do. He had some fucking Russian bots on the internet to impress with his fucking bigotry. Anyway, let's get back to Gill. He delivered speeches in the EU Parliament criticising Ukraine. He framed Ukraine as suppressing media and being repressive. He did TV interviews, which are scripted by Voloshin. And also he provided mood music to the Kremlin narrative. It was subtle influence, plausible deniability, not obvious Russia is great, forward Russia messaging. This wasn't stupidity. This was operational influencer tradecraft. This is what the Kremlin have worked in for years, for absolute fucking years. And who travelled with Gill to Ukraine in 2018 when he went to Ukraine on a trip? Jonathan Arnott and David Coburn, both UKIP MEPs. And on the trip, he appeared on 112 Ukraine, which is a pro-Russia channel. This was linked to Medvedchuk, who was one of the other guys that was found to be giving him money. Involved in giving him money. 6 weeks later, he gave aligned speeches at the EU Parliament. His platform was paid for by the European Centre for Democracy and Human Rights, later exposed as a Russian intel front. Yeah. The European Centre for Democracy and Human Rights. That sounds nice, doesn't it? Look like the Equalities and Human Rights Commission. That sounds nice, doesn't it? They couldn't be full of fucking bigoted twats, could it? No. And there's no allegation that Arnott or Coburn, these other MEPs for UKIP, knowingly took bribes, only Gill. But Arnott later insisted his comments were about press freedom. Yeah, I'm sure they were, mate. And then Farage's response to all this, he claimed he was stunned. Says that Gill defied him by going to Ukraine, said he knew nothing of statements and payments. Of course he didn't. And his team insists Farage frequently takes pictures with strangers and just people that, he wasn't really, he wasn't particularly close. There were just several dozen pictures of these two people, Nathan Gill and Nigel Farage together, But the sources, close sources to Nigel Farage, absolutely contradict him. Gill and Farage were close. Gill was Farage's right-hand man in Brussels. They had offices next door to each other. And Gill was described as Farage's enforcer in Europe. So Farage plays dumb when allies get caught with Russian ties. And, it's funny how these Kremlin agents in Nigel Farage's fucking friendship circle appear, and he just acts shocked. This is a guy who was telling everyone who would listen to him back in 2022 that there was absolutely no way that Russia was going to invade. Russia was not going to invade. It's just a military exercise. They're just seeing how far the guns can be taken down the road, to put them on the border with Ukraine. He was there till the last fucking moment saying, they're not going to invade. Don't worry, everyone. They're not going to invade. Why would he do that? Why would Nigel Farage, the slimy little fucking rat man, the toad-faced fucking nicotine-stained foghorn of ignorance, why would he be saying, nothing to worry about? Would it be so that some people in Ukraine were like, we won't need to put up defences when, because they're not going to invade us. We don't need to be ready because they're not going to invade us. That's why he did it. And that's why he should be in jail for that and many other reasons. Nigel Farage is a fucking menace. He is a fucking menace. We should not have time for him. We shouldn't give him a dirty fucking second. He should be on trial for his crimes. He should not be in elected office. He should be put in fucking jail. And we need to be bold. And we need to fucking do this because we saw what happens in the US when you let these motherfuckers get away with it and you give them the benefit of the doubt. There is no doubt. Nigel Farage is a cunt. End of. He should not be anywhere near politics. He should not be on the television. He should be in a fucking jail cell with his fucking Russian comrades commiserating. The people paying him are not the people who he's looking at. The people paying his wages as an MP are the people that he's not looking after. But someone's giving him more money, a lot more money. He earns 10 times his wages as an MP. He earns 10 times that amount working for fucking knows. Gold. He's working for gold. Someone's fucking paying him. Someone is, and that's who he's working for. He's not working for you. He's not working for me. He's not working for the daft twats who vote for him. He never fucking will. Nigel Farage works for whoever the fuck gives him the most money, because at the end of the day, Nigel Farage only gives a fuck about one fucking thing in the fucking planet. Nigel fucking Farage. Don't forget, never forget, he took the right to live and work anywhere in our continent away from our kids, our children. He took that away from them. But he didn't take it away from his own fucking kids, did he? Fucking ratbag. Anyway, we've got 10 minutes left on the super chats. If you want to just drop three more super chats in, you got 9 minutes and 11 seconds, and we will get confetti. Well, that's very sermon-like language. Yeah, fucking too right. Anyway, so there's a wider network as well. There's Tory MPs, there's Westminster APPG meetings, there's documents that confirm the House speakers warned all MPs in mid-2001 and early 2002. This wasn't one rogue relationship. It's a systemic Kremlin outreach program targeting UK politics across parties. But the success story happened in Farage, for the Russians, happened in Farage's camp. But this is going on, You've got Russian oligarchs paying to play tennis with Boris Johnson, paying to spend time, tickling fucking David Cameron's wife's toes or whatever the fuck these rich people do with their fucking time. I have no fucking idea. But yeah, and also Gill was a target because he had financial struggles. I mean, I'm sorry, but 10 grand, I just don't get this. Like, okay, you got financial struggles, right? Oh, I got financial struggles. Okay, I'll take this money from these fucking Russians, right? Here's the thing, right? Farage and his mates got so much money, it's painful. Aaron Banks gave £7 million to the Leave.eu campaign during the fraud referendum. And we still don't know where that money came from. It was never declared. It came via the Isle of Man through a fucking tax loophole the size of AIDS dad's bottom hole. I mean, it was just, yeah, that's what fucking happened. And here we are, right? And he's going, I need 10 grand. I mean, fucking look at the student debt that the young people have got when they leave. They've got like 50 grand of debt. Get out a fucking loan. Go to the bank and say, I need a loan for 10 grand. But no, instead he took money from the fucking Russians. And it was fucking, if it had been £1 million, I might have had a little bit more respect for him. Do you know what I mean? This is just pathetic. This is pathetic. This is like the joke, artichokes 2 for £1 in Tesco. And you're like, oh, that's a cheap assassination, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, 10 grand. You betrayed your country. Now you're going to jail for 10 fucking grand. Is there not a moment where these fucking traitors look at each other and go, we're in the wrong fucking business, mate. We're in the wrong fucking business. 10 grand? I mean, look, that's a lot of money to me. To me, that's a lot of money. And I think to a lot of people watching this, it's a lot. But to the fucking circles that Nigel Farage swims in, right? There's like the fucking toxic shark he is. Oh, confetti. Confetti! Woo! Yeah. Sorry, missed that. It's nothing to them. This is like chewing gum to them. It's nothing. It's pocket change. Why couldn't he get the money off his mates, off his rich fucking mates? Why couldn't the pilot of the plane that crashed with Nigel Farage in have some money off Nigel to pay for his PTSD therapy? Why couldn't he? Oh, but they don't believe in PTSD, apparently. That's probably why. Why couldn't he lend him some money to keep him going while while the investigation was going on into the crash? Why couldn't he do that? Because the rich are tight as fuck. Nigel Farage swallows a chunk of fucking coal and he would shit out diamonds. That's how fucking tight he is. Rich people don't get rich by being generous. They get rich by keeping every fucking penny for themselves and letting everyone else fend for themselves. You think the contractors are doing the White House demolition work? You think they're going to get paid? Anyway, it's not Trump's fault. It is nature. For the swear jar, Graham, thank you fucking very much. Viper Scott, Alistair, thank you very much. Farage is a see you next Tuesday. That's putting it politely, isn't it? Says George Dawes. It is. It is. It's putting it very politely. And finally, Lost Missionary, just for the confetti. Thank you very much. The £2 super chat. Really appreciate that. Bravo, Scott, says Diz. And we got the confetti. Colin says... comedy is subjective, and the remarks here about Jimmy Carr are identical to what Trump says about journalists he dislikes, only less meaningful. No, Jimmy Carr can fuck off. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if he's made you laugh in the past, fair enough. But, I mean, Graham Linehan has made me laugh in the past. J.K. Rowling, I fucking loved Harry Potter. I fucking loved that story, the films, you know? They were great. She's still a fucking cunt. And I'm not going to give her any fucking money. And I'm not going to give her any credit. And I'm not going to give her any fucking credence. I'm not going to watch the new series of Harry Potter when it comes out on the TV. And I'm going to boycott the actors who are fucking in it because they're going to go fuck themselves. I feel very let down. And then you get Keira Knightley, privately educated, of course, being interviewed. And she's going, oh, well, then, let's get along. Oh, my God. If there was ever a case to eat the rich, I think that clip of Keira Knightley is that's it. You know, that's our talisman. that's what we should project it across the beacons, across the mountains to when the revolution starts. You know what I mean? Instead of lighting the beacons, we just have this big fucking photo image of this video image of Keira Knightley going, oh, let's get along. Anyway, yeah. Gill had financial struggles. He felt overlooked in domestic politics and he was desperate for relevance and a little bit of income. Little being the operative word there. He wasn't cunning, he was vulnerable and targeted. And Russia don't need ideological zealots, they just need opportunists. And that's who he fucking is. So let's have a look at Gill's timeline. In 2014, he was elected as a UKIP MEP. In 2016, he was part of the Brexit vote. bullshit, telling people to vote, to impose economic sanctions on ourselves and stop our children from living and working anywhere they want in Europe, unless you're rich. If you're rich, they still can, because you can afford to buy their visas for them and their work permits and their residencias. Brexit vote, and also there was a photo of Farage and Gill in Brussels, which got spread around a lot. In 2018, Gill, Coburn, Arnott went on this Ukraine trip, and the TV appearance on 112 Ukraine, which is a pro-Russian TV channel in Ukraine. Voloshin messages Gill with these scripts for his EU speech. So his speeches, he didn't even make them up himself. He was given scripts by the Russians to say, here, say these in the EU Parliament, of which Russia's not a member, because it's not part of Europe. You know where Russia ends? Yeah. Sorry, where Ukraine ends. Yeah, that's the border. That's the border now. Decided. It's not the Ural Mountains. That was just made up by Peter the Great. It's an arbitrary fucking line. If you want an arbitrary line between Europe and Asia, I'm going to draw it somewhere else. Thank you very much in my textbooks. Anyway, Asia can fucking deal with Russia. Sorry, mate. 99% of your fucking land's in Asia, so I'm just going to call you Asian. You can't just go, oh, well, I got this little tiny bit in Europe. I'll let Turkey, when they get rid of their current leader, I'll let them join. Not Russia, though. Russia can go fuck itself. Anyway, so Gill spoke in 2018 in the EU Parliament, echoing the Kremlin's lines about, and their lies about, Ukraine. In 2018, December 2018, Gill was receiving scripted talking points from Voloshin, and in January 2020, so a month later, Farage and Gill were together celebrating the Brexit vote in the EU Parliament. In July 2021, the FBI nabs Voloshin in Dulles Airport in America and recovers these WhatsApps. In September, so just 2 months later, Gill was arrested at Manchester Airport. In 2022, the Speaker warned MPs about Kremlin influence attempts. And in 2025, Gill unexpectedly pled guilty to the charges, and now he's awaiting sentencing at the Old Bailey. This wasn't a one-off hiccup. It spanned years across borders, involving lots of known Putin allies. Don't forget, Nigel Farage appeared on Russia Today more than he appeared on fucking Question Time. He was on RT more than he was on QT, which is amazing considering how many times he's been on fucking Question Time with his privately educated chums in the hot seat, tickling his tummy. So Voloshin, who's kind of like the fixer, I guess, for Russia with this, the handler, I should say, that's a better word, the handler of Nathan Gill. He denied working for the FSB, which is contradicted by US intelligence. He called the payments media fees, and he described Gill as a humble family man, a victim of a conspiracy. But then Gill's like fucked it over by admitting that he did all this shit. So Gill ally said he wasn't cunning enough to understand what he was involved in. He was financially vulnerable. He was tragic and targeted and all this kind of stuff. This is pure fucking backpedaling like you would not believe. And being financially desperate, I mean, it doesn't make you not guilty. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people do terrible things because they're financially desperate, and we don't let them off. Oh, well, you're financially desperate, so never mind. It just makes you fucking easier to recruit. Someone with skeletons in their closet makes you easier to recruit. And then you've got Nigel Farage's denials and his sort of image management. He claims Gill. He told Gill not to go to Ukraine. He claims shock and betrayal about all this. He said he takes photos with thousands of people. He can't know every Kremlin adjacent selfie requester. And he claims time and time again to have no knowledge of statements. The picture I used of Farage and Gill on the front cover of this, the thumbnail for this video, is them in a pub. They're having a drink together in a bar, having a drink together. It's not like Gill's holding the camera to take the picture. He's not. Someone else is taking the picture of them drinking together in a pub. And Farage has said he's got no knowledge of these statements that were given when he was the leader of the party by one of his MEPs. He had no knowledge of the statements. Imagine that. Imagine, right, a Labour MP, right, stands up, and then Chris Bryant stands up for some reason. He's been kicked in the head by a horse, and he says, I fucking love Putin. Putin's the best. He's fucking awesome. I love him so much. And everyone's like, what the fuck? That was a bit weird. And then years later, the Prime Minister said, I didn't even know he did that. What, the recorded thing that he did in the parliament that you're part of, and you were the leader of the party in which he was a member of that particular party. He was an elected representative of your party, and you didn't know that he said these things? You didn't think it was a bit odd? Maybe the fact that it didn't ring alarm bells in Nigel Farage's disgusting rubbery head, maybe that's a problem as well. No, well, it's just what everyone does, isn't it? They just say, well, actually, you think about it, Ukrainians are to blame for not being Russian, I guess. But here's the thing. Like, the eyewitnesses say that Gill, Farage's right hand man. They like I said earlier, the officers were next door to each other. Gill was organisational centre in Wales, along with Coburn in Scotland, and there's a photo of Gill. Hang on. There's a photo of Voloshin's wife that was taken in about 2018 outside the European Parliament with Miss Nigel Farage caption. That's a bit weird, isn't it? And there's a T-shirt of a photo in Gill's Strasbourg office that says "Leave and let die." #Brexit. Leave and let die. See, he probably thought that he was talking about the EU there, but actually, he was talking about the UK. Nice. So yeah, if you're truly shocked that your right-hand man was pushing Kremlin propaganda, maybe stop hiring people who think Putin is misunderstood and that Ukraine deserve it. In fact, Nigel, why don't you stop thinking that yourself? And Farage has said publicly, time and time again, that the West provoked Russia. This is a man who blamed NATO for the invasion in 2014. The rhetoric in the reform rhetoric UK often mirrors Kremlin talking points on Ukraine provocation, NATO skepticism, culture war narratives, and this is I'm not making these accusations without evidence. There's plenty of fucking evidence of Farage saying this shit, just like there's evidence of the previous leader of Labour calling the EU a mechanised Frankenstein, which isn't something that you'd want to be part of, right? But yeah, I mean, far be it from me to say that refuck is compromised, but Jesus Christ, the Kremlin sure know where to shop for useful idiots, don't they? Yeah. And this matters. This really matters for democracy, because Russia uses this money and influence ops to weaken democracies, to infiltrate populist movements. And that's what they do. They influence the populist movements first because they're the easiest marks. And Moscow's strategy is to amplify division and undermine Ukraine's support. And this isn't Cold War cloak and dagger. This is WhatsApp and fucking envelopes. Do you know what I mean? This is WhatsApp and fucking PayPal payments. Thing is, though, the fact that they go for the populist movements, why do they go to the populist movements? And this is something that is probably worth saying if you're ever discussing this with someone who votes for refuck or says they're going to, right? Why do refuck fuckers go into government? Why do they stand for election? Is it right to make things better for you and I, or is it to feather their fucking nests? Why are they doing it? Are they doing it for wealth and power, or are they doing it to make society a better place? Every single one of those motherfuckers is doing it for wealth and power. Most of the Tories, they do it for wealth and power as well. One thing I will say about Labour, in their defence, despite everything that's been going on, all the Labour MPs that I know personally have not gone into becoming a politician for wealth and power. If they did, they'd join the fucking Tory party or the refuck fuckers. They wouldn't join Labour. Actually, the people I know in Labour, and also the people I know in the Lib Dems, and the people I know in the Greens, okay? So, and Plaid Cymru, and in the SNP. They are in it because they want to make their country better. They want to help people. They want to help the most disenfranchised people in society. They want to help. Genuinely, that's what they want to do. They might not always fucking achieve that. They might actually fucking fuck things up for people in some ways, but the intention when they become a politician, so I'm not talking about policy here or anything like that, just their intentions becoming a politician. Why would you want to become a refuck politician? Money and power and racism. because you want to get rid of everyone who doesn't look like you. God, imagine how ugly Britain would be if we got rid of everyone who didn't look like fucking refuckers. Anyway, so yeah, the UK has very weak political finance oversight. I don't know why Nigel Farage is allowed to have 17 extra jobs on the side. I really don't. There's foreign money loopholes, like the 7 million that was given by Aaron Banks, privately educated, of course, who gave that to the Brexit campaign that was run by Richard Tice, privately educated, of course, and Andy Wigmore, privately educated, of course, and also Nigel Farage, privately educated, of course. And then in the Tories, they had, so that was Leave.eu. There was also Vote Leave, which was led by Boris Johnson, privately educated, of course, and Rees-Mogg, privately educated, and Gove, privately educated, and led by Dominic Cummings, who also went to private school as well, 30 grand a year, his school, Durham School for Boys here in Durham. Yes, there may be a theme here. There may be a connection. Can anyone let me know what it is between all these people who went to private school, who then turn out to be working for other people's countries, not our country? Not our country. Are you thinking that Boris Johnson, he's all about Britain, is he? Yeah. Why'd you give Australia that trade deal then? Why can't we sell them any fucking beef, but they can sell us 20,000 tons a year tax-free? Why is that, eh? Why is that tariff-free? Same thing. Why is that? Maybe he's working for the Australians and he bend over backwards for the fucking Americans. Maybe he's working for the Americans. Maybe he's working for the Russians. Hangs out with Russians a lot, doesn't he? He likes his Russian friends. Yeah. Lebedev's fucking parties. He went straight from a NATO meeting about the woman who was murdered on British soil by Russian agents. He went straight from that meeting with the secret papers from the secret documents of what they were talking about. He got rid of his security detail and went to a sex party in Italy with an FSB agent and his son. How fucking mad is that? That fucking happened. And everyone seems to forget. There's no FARA style disclosure laws in the UK like there are in the US. There's intelligence warnings have been ignored. And I mean, if anyone watching this believes that Farage didn't know about this, I've got a bridge to sell you. But I'm not gonna insult your intelligence by pretending that anyone smart enough to watch this channel is thinking that Nigel Farage is just some innocent patsy and all this. He's just a dupe, he's just this naive young man who just happens to every time every time he goes somewhere, there just seems to be some kind of person who's working for the Russians just in the room. It's funny that, isn't it? Imagine being haunted by a Russian agent. I just can't get away from them. They just follow me. They follow me home. They follow me to work. They follow me to the, my constituency office that I never attend. And I'm going to say it now, right? This is the end of my sermon, okay? I think that Refuck UK are a security risk to the UK. I genuinely do. That is my belief, and I'm yet to see any evidence that says otherwise. I think that foreign agents should get life bans, but people working for foreign countries should get life bans from public office. That's it. And, the UK needs to protect itself better against political influence from other countries. You look at what Elon Musk has been saying in the last week. He's been tweeting out absolute bullshit about Lord of the Rings. Lord of the fucking Rings, saying that, we need hard men. We need the hard men of Gondor. The hard men. Yeah, take your Viagra, become a hard man. Nice, yeah. And the hobbits were protected by them. Because, that stupid fucking android-faced gobshite Elon Musk, the fucking Nazi whose daddy owned an apartheid-era emerald farm in southern Africa. Yeah, that gobshite. The one whose dad married his sister. Yeah. Whose sister-in-law is also, his stepsister is also his stepmom. Because that's normal. That's fucking normal. To take on the care of a 3-year-old baby, a 3-year-old child, right? A toddler, I guess. And then letting that girl grow up to be a woman and then marrying her. Oh, and actually, they're not married. He's just had 2 children with her. So Elon Musk has, what would they be? Would they be... He has sister nieces and brother nephews. Yeah, it's kind of fucked, isn't it? It's really fucked. But there you go. He was on. He was saying, we need the hard men of Gondor to protect the Shire. Vote Tommy Robinson, not Tony. Vote Tommy Robinson. Vote for Stephen Yaxley Lennon. He's got to protect you, the little tiny fucking angry man off his tits on cocaine. You need to send him out. He's got to protect all the women, is he? He's got to protect the hobbits. But here's the thing, my friends. As a bit of a Tolkien scholar myself, I know that the hobbits had to eventually fucking protect themselves against Sharky, Saruman, when he came to the Shire and the scouring of the Shire, saw the blitz happening to the Shire. And they had to fight back. It was up to the hobbits to fight back. The hard men of Gondor didn't come. The elves of Lothlorien and Rivendell didn't come to fucking help them out, did they? No. The dwarves of fucking Moria, they didn't come. They didn't turn up. Hey lads, we're here to help. And my axe! No. Hobbits were left to fend for themselves, and they did. Hobbits aren't cowards. They're not cowering away in the Shire. When they're called on to fight, which they were in the past against the Witch King of Arnor, they fucking went and did it. Angmar, sorry. No. The Witch King of Angmar, they fucking did it. When they had to. They didn't want to because they're peace-loving people. But when they're pushed, they'll push fucking back, which is right. And Elon Musk is trying to make this fucking point. This is a foreign fucking gobshite interfering in our politics. Some fucking foreigner interfering in our politics. And the right wing fucking love it. If he was Muslim, would they love it? If it was a Muslim who had loads of fucking money, the richest Muslim in the world, and he was, I don't know, sending out tweets saying that Nigel Farage is a fucking gobshite and he's the spawn of the devil, and that we should support the Labour government, what do you think would happen? I know what would happen. Labour need to sort this the fuck out. It's up to them. There are so many loopholes to being a foreign agent in this country and getting away with it. It's got to stop. And I am not taking the view that Farage is incompetent. He is not. In my view, my opinion, what people are saying, allegedly, he is absolutely 100% complicit. In my opinion, allegedly, people are saying this. I'm not necessarily saying this is the truth. I'm just saying it's what I think. It's my opinion on the matter. He says he didn't know. I mean, yeah, if you say so, mate. If you fucking say that. But yeah, Reform UK, when you absolutely need to outsource your fucking politics to Moscow. The Kremlin didn't need to build support in Britain. Farage built the pipeline for them. Absolutely. Farage says he meets thousands of people. Yes, Nigel, but so many of them appear to be on Putin's payroll. It's just a funny thing, and you keep denying it. I never met him. I never went to the Russian embassy. Yes, you fucking did, you lying piece of shit. We got pictures of you with the Russian ambassador before the Brexit vote. Oh yeah, but I didn't know where I was. I was very drunk. Listen, democracy is fragile. Authoritarians exploit greed and desperation. Populists scream patriotism while they are pocketing foreign cash. This is what slow motion treason looks like. Britain is not for sale. That is the fucking that is it. That should be the Labour campaign, Britain is not for sale. Do you remember the UKIP logo was £1? Yeah. Funny that. If you take Kremlin money to undermine democracy, you are not a patriot. You are a fucking footnote. Someone else's fucking empire. And it's a fucking disgrace that Nigel Farage and his mates run around saying how much they love this country, when the reality is, and the reality that we need to impress on everyone we speak to about this, is they fucking hate this country with a pathological loathing. And they want it to fail. They want everyone in this country to be as miserable and angry and wretched as they are. Except without the money. Except without the money. Urbane Legends is going to get the last word of the day. There is poetry to these terrible people who are hangovers from colonial adventure being the ones that try and break our democracy. Yeah, Urbane. That's a very good point. That is a very, very good point. The people who go, oh yeah, the empire wasn't that bad. Oh, was it? It was Britain who got rid of the slavery trade. Slaves, they existed before the slave trade. Keep making excuses for the worst crime ever committed in human history. But, you know, I'm sure it wasn't that bad. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed Sunday sermon, in which we pick a particular subject and I go off on one about it. That's got a little format, that, and I've gone 18 minutes over time. So, well, I was a little bit late getting started, so I've gone 10 minutes over time. That's not too bad, is it? Right, I'm going to go now. I'm going to let you go and frolic in the autumn mists and having a lovely day today. I hope the sun is shining where you are, and if not, I hope you got some board games to play or some video games or a good movie to watch. We all love a good movie. And thank you so much for the super chats. It makes it worth getting up in the morning, even when it's a bit later. You see, the thing is, I was doing this at 9 o'clock and trying to get it finished before, because when I started doing it at 9 o'clock on Sundays, I thought that Alex's show on Political Alex's channel didn't start till 10. And it starts at 9:45, so I've got to try and cram an entire show into 45 minutes, and I'm just too fucking garrulous. I just talk too much. It's impossible. So I've moved it to 11, so it's after Alex's show, and you get a bit of a break, have a bit of a coffee, and then you can come watch this or listen to this if you're listening to it on the podcast. I'm going to set up all the other shows that we do now, stateside, Geoscope, Rabbit Hole, PMQs, Graham Hughes, also The Swear Jar, Friday Night Social, How We Fix Britain, everything. They're all going to be turned into podcasts now. So if you want to listen to them in the car for your podcast app, I don't know exactly how it works, but you'll be able to do that. And I'll try and make these shows as little, using as little visuals as possible. And obviously we do the papers, but I do read out the headlines in them. And the reason I do that is so it works on a format where you don't have to see, this fucking stupid fizzog. All right, I will speak to you tomorrow. Just so you know, Lost Missionary, Diz, Viper Scott, everyone else, Acro Dave, Nick in the chat. Listen, tomorrow morning I've got a really important appointment. So 9 o'clock tomorrow, I'm not going to be doing morning brew. And so what I'm going to do, I don't know what time I'm getting back, but I can't miss this. So and normally I'd get someone else to fill in for me, like maybe Mike Dix or someone, but Mike's away on holiday at the moment. So I'm just going to leave it. So there's going to be no morning brew tomorrow. If there is, it might be at like 11 o'clock or it might be in the afternoon, which wouldn't make it a morning brew, but I might do it as a morning brew just for a laugh. So do us a favor. If you're not already subscribed, I know everyone who's obviously in the chat is subscribed, but if you haven't subscribed yet, even if you don't want to be in the chat, just hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you'll get to know when I'm going to be back tomorrow, because I don't know what time I'll be back. So yes, that's it. That's all you need to know, I think. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Give us a like.